Madam President, many propagators of grave atrocities have protested that they were misunderstood, that they did not mean what they said, and that their own words were taken out of context. What state would admit to a genocidal intent? Yet, the distinctive feature of this case has not been the silence as such, but the reiteration and repetition of genocidal speech throughout every sphere of state in Israel.
What happens when a nation accuses another of genocide? A question that has recently come into sharp focus as South Africa accuses Israel of genocide. These are not just words thrown around lightly. They carry weight, grave implications, and the potential to reshape diplomatic landscapes. South Africa, a beacon of the African continent, has lodged a case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. The accusation? Genocide. The setting? The Gaza Strip, a territory that has seen more than its fair share of conflict and bloodshed. The basis of this application is the alleged violations of the Genocide Convention by Israel, with South Africa arguing that the acts and omissions committed by Israel are genocidal in character and carry the specific intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza. These are serious charges indeed. We're talking about a war that has resulted in the deaths of 168 Israeli soldiers and over 20,000 Palestinians. Lives snuffed out, families torn apart, and a region perpetually on edge. But this accusation didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was a result of a series of events. So, let's take a step back and examine the timeline that led to this moment. As we delve into these events, keep in mind the gravity of the accusation and the potential repercussions it could have on international relations. To understand the gravity of this accusation, we need to rewind a little. The war began after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, leading to over 1,400 deaths. This marked the start of an intense conflict that would reverberate across the globe and particularly in South Africa. The Gaza Strip, a region already steeped in tension and strife, was subjected to a brutal bombardment. The impact was catastrophic, with the death toll rising into the thousands. While the world watched, South Africa took a stand. The South African government, appalled by the level of destruction, took decisive action. They recalled their ambassador and their entire diplomatic mission to Israel in a clear and powerful protest. This was not a decision taken lightly. It was a statement of solidarity with the people of Gaza and a denunciation of the military operations. But the South African government went a step further. They threatened action against the Israeli ambassador to South Africa over his remarks on the country's stance on the Israel-Hamas war. This move underscored the depth of their disapproval and their commitment to holding Israel accountable for its actions. South Africa was not alone in its protest. Chile, Colombia, Honduras, and Bolivia also recalled their ambassadors to Israel, joining the collective outcry against the military operations in Gaza. Each recall was a further blow to Israel's international standing, a stark reminder of the global condemnation it faced. These events have led us to the current situation, where South Africa has taken the bold step of accusing Israel of genocide. This accusation, brought to the International Court of Justice, has the potential to drastically reshape diplomatic relations and could have far-reaching implications for Israel, the United States, and the West in general. But what does this mean for Israel, the US, and the West in general? Well, the implications of this accusation are indeed profound. It could strain the diplomatic relations between Israel and South Africa further, and potentially affect relations with other nations as well. South Africa's stance is clear, and it is not alone. Countries like Chile, Colombia, Honduras, and Bolivia have also recalled their ambassadors to Israel in protest of the military operations in Gaza. South Africa's historical support for the Palestinian struggle for sovereignty might play a significant role in shaping the diplomatic landscape. This struggle is seen by Pretoria as mirroring its own fight against apartheid. As such, South Africa's accusation against Israel could potentially rally more nations to question their diplomatic relations with Israel, and by extension, those allied with it. The US and the West, traditional allies of Israel, may find themselves in a challenging position, forced to navigate the treacherous waters of diplomacy, balancing their alliances and principles. In essence, this accusation could potentially alter the dynamics of international relations, adding a layer of complexity to an already intricate global political landscape. As the International Court of Justice begins hearing the application from South Africa, the world watches and waits. The implications of the case could be far-reaching, affecting not just Israel and South Africa, but potentially the global political landscape as well.
We remind the court of the identity and authority of the genocidal inciters: the Prime Minister, the President, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Energy and Infrastructure, members of the Knesset, senior army officials, and foot soldiers. Genocidal utterances are therefore not out in the fringes. They are embodied in state policy. The intent to destroy is plainly understood by soldiers on the ground. It is also fully understood by some within the Israeli society, with the government facing criticism for allowing in any aid to Gaza on the basis that it is recanting on its promise to starve Palestinians.